Jasper R, you donated to have me play a meme jack on the channel, and I did not get the deck list. Please shoot me a message on Discord or shoot me an email. Thanks. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today we're going to see if Eldrazi is dead or not. Anubis has asked me to translate a modern Mono Red Eldrazi deck that they built into Legacy. And I did a lot of work on this one. Shoutouts to PVDH who gave me a starting point for this, but I kind of jammed the two decks together and then got lost in the sauce as far as the sideboard goes. So with Sowing Mycospawn gone, the Eldrazi deck needs to look very, very different. And if you take a quick look at the mana base here, there aren't wastelands. So the plan is not kick Sowing Mycospawn, exile your lands, wasteland, dance on your grave. That's not what we're doing anymore. Instead, we are being a beatdown deck with Eldrazi Linebreaker. And the big appeal of Eldrazi Linebreaker is making a bunch of tokens with Glaring Fleshraker and then finishing the game with Eldrazi Linebreaker very quickly. Because you get the ping off Glaring Fleshraker, and it makes whatever creature you are bumping up with Eldrazi Linebreaker even stronger. Now, Anubis's initial deck list had Fable of the Mirror Breakers, which I think are interesting, but I think Mox Diamond does the same job. Fable of the Mirror Breaker is supposed to be this glue that lets us cast our spells. And I think Mox Diamond is going to allow us to play more Glaring Fleshraker or Eldrazi Linebreaker on turn 1, and maybe gets us to casting a respectable Kozilek's command a turn earlier. We can play Endless One early on in this deck if we need to just beat down a little bit, but we'd prefer to do something like play a Kozilek's command at our opponent's end step, make a bunch of things, burn with Glaring Fleshraker, and then follow up with Endless One afterwards. That's the sort of thing that we would really like to be doing. We are not maxing out on Reality Smashers here. It is just a part of the deck. I think I could play 2 more, and it would be perfectly reasonable to do so. But I do want to have some things to do on turn 1 when I don't necessarily just hit a Mox Diamond or Lotus Petal to be able to do one of these. We have a lot of mana sources in this deck. Like, we are at 31. We are over 50%. So we do want to get to these bigger things. But on the turns that we don't have mana acceleration on turn 1 outside of just something like a Soul Land, we do have other things we can play. Now, as far as the sideboard goes, conceptually, what I want to do is keep playing cards into Glaring Fleshraker, right? And I am a little bit worried that decks that can 1/1 us and then stabilize are going to beat us. And that's where I think the One Ring comes in versus these slower control decks. I don't know that I want it in game 1, despite how powerful it is. But as a 31 mana source deck, shoving the One Ring in here probably just makes the deck better. And beyond that, we have some ability to remove various permanents and some generic anti-combo hate cards. So, let's see how this shakes out here. Folks, if you find you need any Magic cards for this new metagame, please check out my sponsor, toamagic.com. They're great. You get free shipping. If you got a tournament coming up and you need those cards now, you can even expedite your shipping. Promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on your order, and if you do need any of that new stuff, they tend to have about 95% of it in stock at any given time. Let's go see how Eldrazi Linebreaker feels. So we have a double City of Traders hand here, which is slightly awkward. I think I am going to keep it. Chalice of the Void ain't what it used to be in terms of stopping opponents from winning the game, but it's pretty respectable. Resolves. My opponent almost certainly misses here. They choose Force of Will. Are we just dead on turn 1? Spirit Guide. Spirit Guide. Uh-huh. Cool. So this is a turn 1 kill through Force of Will. So this is going to be a slightly different pile than what many of you might be used to. So you might be used to an opponent putting 3 Narcomoebas into play for the immediate Dread return. That's not what's happening here. My opponent is going to cast Cabal Therapy to return Poxwalkers. Then after that happens, they can Dread Return the Thassa's Oracle. At this point, I am dead. I'm just seeing if there's anything spicy here. Not really. Unmasks. All right. Anyway, you were curious why my podcast said that something from Oops should be hit. That should give you a good indication as to why. We are pretty terrible versus this deck. We don't have ley lines specifically in this build because I had room for 3 graveyard-oriented cards. And because of that, we probably just outright lose the match. I think this hits like a truck. It will maybe trim some generic endless ones, and that heralds the end here. So the thing that sucks about this is that my opponent has won game 1 with 0 effort, and now I need to be potentially respecting everything from Rotting Regisaur to Goblin Charbelcher to the exact same combo that we just saw, and occasionally also some other strange pivots. So I could bring in something like Dismember to address some of these pivots, but they do nothing against other portions of the deck in a very frustrating fashion. So this Chalice is on 0 on turn 1, Disruptor Flutes on turn 2 and turn 3, and then starts trying to win afterwards. Doesn't feel great, but this is probably about what I can expect from this deck. So we will drop that Chalice, call it a turn, see if we die. Ooh, no immediate play from my opponent. Cool. Am I gutsy enough to Glaring Fleshraker? Yes. Yes, I am. I'm going to hope that this Chalice is doing more than it looks like. There is an Unmask. Taking my Kozilek's command. Like, am I just supposed to go? I'm probably just supposed to go. So this is 2 colorless, 1 red. We do the Glaring Fleshraker thing, which gets immediate damage. I go to combat. I target my Eldrazi Linebreaker so it can attack. This is 8 damage, and I still have a Disruptor Flute that I can cast. Holy shit, Chalice of the Void. You did some fucking work there, bud. But the game where I'm on the draw is pretty hopeless. I have literal 0 cards here that interact with this deck on the draw. Well, I have great tools for the matchup, assuming I get a turn. That is perhaps not a safe assumption. My opponent is going to 3. So you're telling me there's a chance. Note that from 3, it is still very possible to kill from 3 cards on turn 2. Just land, Dark Ritual, and a 3-drop of relevance. Probably Undercity Informer. Not this time. So I can play Ghost Vacuum and Chalice on 1. Sorry, and Chalice on 0. Or I can play Chalice on 1 to stop Dark Ritual specifically, which is one of the things that catapults my opponent forward, but doing so shuts off Ghost Vacuum. Based on vibes and what I would be keeping if I were in that opponent's spot, I'm going to put this on 1. I just strongly feel like there is a Dark Ritual in my opponent's hand. Lotus Petal? Lol. Lol, 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 lol. Cavern on Eldrazi. I'm going to throw down Glaring Fleshraker this turn, and then we can start doing some cool things next turn. All right. Another Glaring Fleshraker. Neat. I'm in. So, cast Glaring Fleshraker, make a spawn, deal 1 damage, use the spawn to cast Ghost Vacuum, triggers, make 2 friends, Chalice counters Ghost Vacuum, cast Grafdigger's Cage into my Chalice of the Void, trigger these twice. Now I have a Kozilek's command for X equals 1 available in an absolute emergency, and Eldrazi Linebreaker is lethal next turn. We won against Oops All Spells. All it took was literally just my opponent losing to a Chalice of the Void on 0 alone, and then my opponent mulliganing to 3 and not taking relevant game actions. We did it. Oops is fine.
Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and honestly, they're just the best at what they do. If you need to keep your deck lists online, this is the way to do it. They have all sorts of different viewing options. You can condense that text if you like things to be tight. You can make them visual grids. You can put them in stacks. You've got all sorts of different ways to kind of view and visualize your deck lists. And they also have some really cool functionality, like allowing you to see playtest hands and even fully playtest your decks. So check them out.
All right, here we go. Chalice of the Void on 1, decent opener, and then we have a stream of uncounterable Eldrazi. Wasteland is currently the thing that really messes me up and has the potential to beat me. We are facing a generic blue deck, which hopefully is being shut down by Chalice of the Void. Hoo 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 hoo. Eldrazi. I could do some math here about Goldfish speed. I'm just going to play out Glaring Fleshraker and assume that casting multiple Glaring Fleshrakers ends up being really fucking good. Second land drop here. Endless One. Endless One is cool. Things like Orcish Bowmaster exist. I'm going to play an Eldrazi Linebreaker. Let's get this show on the road. Yield to these triggers. Pinging my opponent for 1. I can turn this spawn... No, I can't turn the spawn into an Endless One. Palace is a thing here. Send in. No follow-up. Opponent is at 10. Facing lethal next turn pretty easily. Spread across multiple bodies. So the fear here would be something like Show and Tell. That just overpowers what I'm doing. Let's play another Eldrazi Linebreaker. Quick check-in. Is that the best thing to do? Yeah, probably. So this will ping my opponent once again. We're at 8. Got 2 triggers here. I'm going to point one of these at Eldrazi Linebreaker. I'll point another one at just a spawn token. Done. Okay, opponent just died. We saw 2 snow-covered islands and Lorien revealed. This probably means combo. Not 100%, but probably. I think I'm going to generically board in 2 Disruptor Flutes. Wastegate Battlemage is a thing that I could play here for attempting to get rid of an Omniscience. The thing is that for that to work, my opponent has to put Omniscience in and then pass the turn, because this is on cast triggers here. This still does take a creature out of play. I might play it for that reason alone. I am probably going down on stuff that comes down late and generic duders to fit in these 5 cards. I say stuff that comes down late, but like Reality Smasher is turn 3. Great cards, no lands. Yeah, this is fine. Ancient Tomb, Chalice, have Wastegate Battlemage to exile an artifact or enchantment, and keep one of these 2. They are probably about similar in terms of utility. I'll keep it. That heralds the end. Fetch land and pass. Eldrazi Temple means Thought-Knots here on turn 2. I like that a lot. Opponent does not like my Chalice. And consigns it. Cycling a Lorien revealed on their own turn. And then passing. This is scary. They're not cantripping. I am slightly afraid that I am walking this Thought-Knot Seer directly into another Consign to Memory. But if I don't play this here, my opponent can just go 3rd land, Show and Tell, and I die. Force of Will pitching, Show and Tell. Alright, I did call the matchup correctly. Now the bad news here is my opponent almost certainly has another Show and Tell in hand. They don't have it immediately, though. So, drop Glaring Fleshraker. Drop It That Heralds the End. We'll start pinging our opponent, and these spawns are going to get buffed by It That Heralds the End. Or some more damage. My opponent might have a consign. They're letting this sit on the stack. So I'm attacking for 6 next turn, and then maybe pinging for another 3 or so more. That's an intuition. That's pretty bad. Illusion of Choice. You have Omniscience. So I'm not going to put in my Wastegate Battlemage because I would like to kick this to remove Omniscience if I don't die immediately. Sometimes my opponent will just cast something like a Stock Up and miss, and I will get another turn before I'm dead. Not this time. Cunning Wish gets Firemind's Foresight. Firemind's Foresight is now going to go through a chain of things that result in my opponent getting one or more creatures. Echoing Truth is in their deck. That's good to know about. Now they can Cunning Wish again, get something like a Shared Summons, which is what they get, which allows them to look for 2 creatures, which is presumably going to be like Emrakul. Oh, yeah, Emrakul and Atraxa. Yeah, we're good. All right. I'm going to swap an Endless one for 1 Reality Smasher. This looks like it's probably good. So I need actual factual colorless mana, which means I go Mox Diamond, discard Eye of Ugin, play Ancient Tomb, play Glaring Fleshraker, play Lotus Petal afterwards, immediately generate a friend, and then play It That Heralds the End next turn. This is fine. So Diamond, discard Eye, Ancient Tomb, it resolves, then do the Glaring Fleshraker thing. Do I want to play It That Heralds the End right now? I replace the token. Yeah, that's fine. So this will ping for 1 again and grow the squad. This is a very respectable aggro start. Oh, that was good enough for Force of Will, but the original Glaring Fleshraker wasn't. Fascinating. Ping. Now we need the top of the deck to be a little cooperative here. That'll do, deck. That'll do. Let's do this in the way where I keep the extra body on board. Play Eldrazi Linebreaker. Ping. Ping again. Punchies. This is just an attack for 9. Opponent is at 6. I'm going to hold this. There's very little difference between 6 and 4 here. But this difference next turn could be relevant if my opponent plays an Omniscience and, I don't know, Echoing Truth some creatures back to my hand or some bullshit like that. Hey, we just win. We just absolutely overpowered our opponent here with a hyper-aggressive start. That's what we want Eldrazi Linebreaker to do. Bill from the future here. I'm cutting round 3 from this league. Why, you might ask, and honestly, that's a fair question. The latest Magic Online patch has broken Eye of Ugin. So, Eye of Ugin should reduce the cost of my colorless Eldrazi spells by 2. So I should be able to cast an endless one for X equals 2, which I cannot do. Okay, we're going to adjust this. We are going to set this to X equals 0. See the problem here? Where I can't actually cast my spells. So I can't cast it on X equals 2. If I cast it on X equals 0, it goes directly to graveyard. So this means that my X cost spells like Endless One and Kozilek's Command don't actually work. And my round 3 was absolutely ruined by this interaction not working properly. So we're going to hope it doesn't come up again, because I can't cast those spells appropriately. Still, from even further into the future here, between the time that I recorded this video and the time that I sat down to edit it, this problem has supposedly been patched. So if you are excited about this deck and you do want to play it, you should be able to do that. Check it out in the tournament practice room first to confirm, but you should be good. Okay, I am on the play. I have turn 1 Chalice on 1, turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer. I can't cast Eldrazi Linebreaker, and we're probably playing against Cloud Post, although we just had a ban, so I don't know if they are still going to be on that. So here's Eye of Ugin and 2 cards that I can't cast with it. Hey, that is incredibly frustrating. I probably can't keep this. I think for the remainder of this league, I need to focus on aggro hands. So turn 2, Glaring Fleshraker, and then I keep one of these 2 beyond that. Eye of Ugin goes back. That card is bugged as fuck. It's not City of Traders. I'm going to keep a Reality Smasher and hope that Glaring Fleshraker helps get me to it. No Covered Wastes and pass. Urza's Tower, pass. Okay, that's exactly the sort of thing that I needed here. So this is going to give me Glaring Fleshraker into Reality Smasher and attack. That's about the best that I can do. Get ready for my opponent's 1 ring. It is their own Glaring Fleshraker. Theirs will be better than mine. Oh, they're doing more now. Thanks, I hate it. 3 mana, a second one. I'm at 16. Oh, we're still going. Manifold Key now. That can untap Grim Monolith. My opponent can sack a spawn. 1 ring now. Disruptor Flute. The good news is that's going to miss. The bad news is it's turn 2, I'm at 8. Kozilek's command is a respectable name. I need to do this, but I am very, very likely just going to die. I think I have to put the pedal to the metal here. I don't think I attack with this one. I think I attempt to trade this defensively in a lot of cases. Yikes. All right, just going for unblockable here. I respect that. I am at 4. It that heralds the end. So I get my own triggers, but I get 1. Opponent is at 11. I guess I send those in. The Glaring Fleshraker just gets chump blocked very easily. And I am always taking 2 from unblockable this turn. And then the Construct token kills me on top of that. Alright, so mull to 4, and then my opponent absolutely had the nuts. I think I will get rid of my Chalice of the Voids. They do some things at 0, they do some things at 1. Neither one of them is stopping the problematic cards. Let's get Wastecape Battle Mage in there to potentially get rid of some stuff. And then I can look at Disruptor Flute and Dismember beyond that. So the reason why I didn't run into problems with Endless One until this late in the league is because I've boarded it out every round. So that's a thing. That gets me here. I can play my own 1 rings if I want. I'm not sure that it is correct to, because I'm going to want to Disruptor Flute the 1 ring in a lot of cases. Like, do I just need to board out my other bugged card? My entire deck does not function when Ayavugan is in play. I think I have to keep Kozilek's command and just hope I don't draw Ayavugan. With another land, this is pretty cool. Without that other land, this is no good. Okay. I will keep it and pitch an Ayavugan. The Wastecape Battle Mage currently cannot actually get rid of a problematic artifact. I am not going to play it out as a 2/2 attacker. I am going to try and hold. Planar Nexus and pass. My cards are bugged with Ayavugan. In a vacuum, it is probably correct to play Ayavugan this turn. Let's hope not to draw Kozilek's command. Wow. Those are very good. I'm going to take the 1 ring. My opponent just has 4 mana on turn 2. No downsides here. And then I am hoping to be able to kick Wastecape Battle Mage to get rid of something good. 2 mana. 3 mana. Sure. I will go ahead and Mox Diamond. Discard Ancient Tomb. Play Eldrazi Linebreaker. I think I still need this. I will give the Eldrazi Linebreaker haste. It costs my opponent both of their Glaring Fleshrakers if they want to trade with this. My opponent takes 9. I'll pass. The Karn can blow up Mox Diamond, which is surprisingly annoying here. Assault Monolith, sure. So there is Karn. Are we just going to get a bridge and attempt to lock me out here? Because that probably does it. I also might just die. My opponent has something like a Walking Ballista. The 1 ring. Probably accomplishes the same thing here. So my opponent gets protection from everything. I am at 5. My opponent attacks me for 4. Any other spell is lethal. Oh yeah, and I know they have Mystic Forge. Yeah, I am just dead. GG's. Well, I'm going to keep this hand, and we'll see if we are actually capable of casting a Kozilek's command. And It That Heralds the End. I think I ignore everything for the time being. On turn 2, I effectively have 6 mana with double Glaring Fleshraker happening. I can use the Ayavugan stuff twice. I don't think I want to lead on City to Chalice on 1 immediately. I think keeping my lands is too important. We've got more cantrips from my opponent. No Wasteland. Very happy to see that. Sorcery Speed Brainstorm after fetch? I don't know about that one. My opponent is 1 Lotus Petal away from comboing off. I'll shut up, though. I'm not going to math this out, but I assume that that thing attacks this turn. So this is 1 colorless mana for a Glaring Fleshraker. This is 1 colorless mana for a Glaring Fleshraker, which triggers more other Glaring Fleshraker. So my opponent my opponent let the first one resolve, but countered the second. The second time I've seen that happen today. So now I will Lotus Petal, re-trigger this. Hit that heralds the end, costs 1 mana, and gets me 1 mana back. Feels good. Then triggers Glaring Fleshraker. So now this costs me 2 mana for Eldrazi Linebreaker. My opponent is at 11. So my opponent can take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just confirming this card is not going to work, right? So make spawn, scry draw, choose me. X is currently 2. Adjust, X is 2. Okay. Done. Now still wants me to pay. Okay. Cool. In that case, I will just go to combat. Target Eldrazi Linebreaker. Swing in for 9. Opponent is at 2. I will cast a Chalice of the Void for X equals 1. Putting my opponent to 1. Can I cast successfully for X equals 0? No. This time I actually can't because I don't have colorless. That's a fair reason why I can't cast that. Alright, we win. I saw a Preordain, right? Yeah, I saw a Preordain. So this is probably either a Reanimator or Doomsday deck. We just want to kill our opponent. Let's get a couple of Disruptor Flutes in there, assuming this is Doomsday for the bugged Endless ones. And probably call that good. I am willing to keep this hand, I think. So I Ancient Tomb, Mox Diamond, discarding unclaimed territory, depending on degree of danger that I feel. I Disruptor Flute or Eldrazi Linebreaker. Ancient Tomb. Is this Show and Tell then? Blue-black Show and Tell? And you have Thought Seizes? Bonus land. We'll take it. Very fast Force of Will on Mox Diamond. I am going to Called Shot Disruptor Flute Show and Tell. Smells like Show and Tell. It's possible I'm wrong, but it feels like I have oh, that's so fucking good. I'm in about the right ballpark here. So, Eldrazi Linebreaker is now going to do the Eldrazi Linebreaker thing. Give itself haste, bash in for 4, which is hyper relevant when my opponent has Ancient Tomb. Opponent going down to 12, presumably surveilling. Okay, that was an Emrakul. Yeah, I think I was correct. That's just another land. Nice. Kozilek's command. I would like to make friends, and I would like to draw a card. This is counterable. X equals 3. That is Force of Will, Pitching, and Omniscience. So my opponent is stopping what I'm doing. It's coming at a real cost. Oh, yeah, looks like they're passing the turn again. If I connect with Eldrazi Linebreaker, my opponent is either going to be dead or very close to it. So I play this uncounterably, and I can give it haste and attack. So, yeah. This is already enough. I'll do more, though. I guess there's Bowmaster to think about. Bottom that. Bottom that. Another It That Heralds the End. I don't really need to play that. Haste. Well, we just won. My opponent just died. I am not sure exactly what the black is for. I don't know if it's tutors. I don't know if it's goifs. I don't know if it's thought seizes. Didn't need to learn. All right. So bugs aside, let's try to evaluate this one. Overall thoughts on the deck list, assuming no bugs. Endless one, I boarded out every single round. Maybe that should not have been in the deck. Maybe I should have a 4th It That Heralds the End, and then... Or maybe I cut all of them and play 4 Once Upon a Time and fit a couple more green sources into the deck, because hitting Glaring Fleshraker and Eldrazi Linebreaker is just so important to the beginning of the game. Trying to cast a large Endless one didn't really matter if I was killing my opponent with Glaring Fleshraker or Eldrazi Linebreaker. So maybe I don't need that as a mana sink. I guess conceptually, the biggest question that I have has nothing to do with Eldrazi. And my question is, if you want to be playing a Glaring Fleshraker deck, is the payoff of Eldrazi Linebreaker as an aggro element better than the payoff of being able to play Planar Nexus plus Tron land and then have 4 mana for the One Ring or Mystic Forge or Karn on turn 2, like one of my opponents was doing in, what was that, round 4? I am not sure that this deck is good in terms of the meta as a whole. There are things that I'm definitely worried about, but damn, we can get opponents dead. Like, Glaring Fleshraker into Glaring Fleshraker is nuts. Glaring Fleshraker into Linebreaker is nuts. Even It That Heralds the End into Linebreaker is totally solid as far as an opener goes. I don't know that you want Eldrazi Mimics in the 2-drop spot. It's another aggressive thing for the early game, but oh gosh, what is it? Wumpus? What is the name of this card? There's a 6/6 Eldrazi. You could play Eldrazi Mimic and then try to support it with more Reality Smashers or Wumpus Aberration. That's a thing you could do. There's the red-green, very, very broken draft uncommon that makes a couple of spawns that also could be good with Eldrazi Linebreaker. We were pretty good at casting Eldrazi Linebreaker, but I don't know if we need red and green at the same time if our whole Ancient Tomb Eldrazi Temple Eye of Ugin mana base actually supports that. We did not get into the grindy mid-range control matchups where I was expecting the One Ring to shine, so 0 data collected on that today. I don't believe I sideboarded that in a single round. We got very lucky to beat Oops All Spells without Leyline of the Void. I will tell you that as well. So, Anubis, if you want to play Eldrazi Linebreaker, this or something within 4 cards of this is probably where you want to be as far as the main deck goes. I felt really good about the mana here. As far as the sideboard, jury's still out on that one. All right, folks, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and if you need some cards, you know where to go. Maybe we'll try this again once our bug gets fixed. See ya!